Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. If you're following on from my previous video, in this video I will be building the warrior deck that I promised. If you're looking at this video and haven't seen my previous video, what you can expect in this video is me showing you the thought process of building a warriors deck. This is my first time building a warriors deck, and unfortunately it's not a building a warrior deck tutorial, so if that's what you're here for, I'm sorry, but if you do want a bit of thought process into how to build a warrior deck, feel free to keep watching. I'll be building on the principles I established in the last video, which are kind of generic trading card deck building principles, which is stuff like the goal of the deck, how do I achieve this, what cards do I have to achieve this, do I want to use a boss monster or not, how do I cover the deck's weaknesses, and what filler cards can I use to help me achieve the deck's goal quicker. So, let's start by actually creating the deck. That's a good point. Now, what I do know about the warrior deck so far is... yeah, there we go. I've never played a warrior. What I do know about the warrior deck so far is that from the cards I've got, from the basic cards I've got, it seems to be based around damaged minions a lot. So I've got a few cards here. Destroy a damaged enemy minion, which is actually kind of cool. Draw a card for each damaged friendly character, which means that if you've got enough minions on the field that are damaged, you can draw more cards. Give a damaged minion +3/+3. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, draw a card. So what I'm gathering from this is, because they all seem to be based around having damaged minions on either side of the field, I'm going to be building a lot of my minions out of enrage minions and minions that gain effect from being damaged. For example, the Acolyte of Pain, which is draw a card every time he is damaged. I'm going to probably throw a Gurubashi Berserker in there because he becomes quite a bit of a threat to deal with after a while. There's also a weapon here, Fiery War Axe, which seems quite cool, so I might also throw in a Spiteful Smith just to kind of go along with that kind of theme. I'll probably be throwing Amani Berserkers. So I'm thinking the goal of this deck that I'm going to try and go for is going for damaging my own minions using things and getting them as powerful as possible. So, what I can see I need straight off the bat is I will be wanting draw a card for each damaged friendly character. Yep, definitely want that. Give your hero +4 attack this turn. That's kind of cool, but it's not necessary, so I'll leave that until later and might use it as a filler card. Give a damaged minion +3/+3. I really wish I had 2 copies of both of these cards. These seem like great cards for what I'm trying to achieve. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, draw a card. Yep, we'll grab 2 of those. If you have a weapon, give it +1/+1. Otherwise, equip a 1/3 weapon. Don't really need that. Execute. Destroy a damaged enemy minion. Now, I'm not going to lie, that sounds great, but once again, filler cards, so I'll save that until after I've got the main deck strategy worked out. Your other minions have charge, and equip a 2/2 weapon. Your other minions have charge seems like a great thing for this deck, because if I'm trying to build an enrage deck, I want to make sure that they can at least get their enrage trigger or their enrage criteria off nearly straight away. Which means that if I summon them and they're sitting there with summoning sickness and they can't attack, they're not much use to me because my opponent might be able to flatten them with, and like for example, if I had something with enrage and 3 HP, then chances are my opponent will be able to run something with 3 attack into it and kill it outright, so it never gets its enraged criteria. Giving it charge means I can summon it and then force it to attack a specific target that will let it survive while still triggering its enrage. So I'm going to go for that. And now we're going to move into the generic cards, and we'll move back into those once we've had a look. Enrage, +5 attack. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, but I also don't have any cards to increase its HP so that it can survive that. So yeah, I don't think the Angry Chicken will be something I can make use of, because that Enrage is actually quite a lot of attack, but I just don't think I'll be able to make use of it because I won't be able to increase its HP. So I'm going to have to skip over that one. Now, let's have a look at some of the other ones. Death Rattles are actually something that might come in handy because I might have to kill my own minions at some point, so that's also something that might come in handy. Have charge while you have a weapon equipped. Since I've got the Warsong Commander, having things with charge isn't too much of an issue because, I mean, yeah. Here we go, here's something that I need. Amani Berserker, Enrage, +3 attack. He has 3 HP, which means he can survive a 1 damage attack. If I pull him out and I've got Warsong Commander out, he has 3 HP, so I can quite happily run him into something with 1 or 2 attack. And that'll put him up to his full 5 attack, so I'm going to definitely throw him in. Once again, there's another one of those things where I wish I had more than 1 copy. Unfortunately, I don't have money to throw at this game, so I can't exactly do that kind of stuff. Direwolf. Now, it might also be worth throwing in, since I'm going for Enrage, and I kind of want my Enrage targets to survive, I do want something that Alright, everyone knows how taunt minions work. If you're watching this video, you probably play Hearthstone, so you know how taunt minions work. Your opponent must attack a taunt minion. However, there's something that we call, well, not we call, but it's something I call a dummy target, where it's not immediately, it's not something with taunt, but it's something you need to get rid of straight away. And something like Dire Alpha Wolf is one of those things, because while it's on the field, it's fairly weak by itself, but while it's on the field, it increases the attack of all of my other minions. So if you kill him first, all of my other minions become less threatening, if you catch my drift. So if I have like 5 minions on the field and something like Dire Alpha Wolf or Raid Leader on the field, suddenly Dire Alpha Wolf and Raid Leader become really high priority on the targets of minions you have to get off the field ASAP. So while they may not have taunt, which literally forces your opponent's monsters to attack them, if your opponent sees monsters like dummy target sort of things where they see Dire Alpha Wolf, they will want to attack them fairly quickly to get them off the field. However, once again, since it's not Enrage and it's not something to do with the strategy that I'm kind of going for at the moment, I'm going to skip over it and we'll keep having a look. Now that's one of the filler cards I was talking about. Novice Engineer, draw a card. Once again, she's Battlecry minion, draws cards, so it'll help me get through to my strategy quicker. Now these two, I use these two in my priest deck and they actually work phenomenally together, because after you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to all minions. That's everything on the field, which means it will be damaging my opponent's minions as well as triggering my enrage abilities and all of that kind of crap. So I'm definitely putting 2 copies of him in. Acolyte of Pain, once again, whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card, so I'll definitely be taking him. Now he's a good filler card just in general because he's 1/3, which means he absorbs a little bit of damage. He's 1 attack, so you can kind of run him into things every so often. But regardless of whether he gets one-shotted or not, you still draw a card. So, because there's one card, I can't remember which one it is, but it's a gnome card of some sort, and it's its death rattle is draw a card. And I think it's 1 or 2 mana cost, but I believe this card is better overall, because you have the potential to draw 3 cards off of this, whereas that death rattle one, regardless of how much HP you gave it or how much attack you gave it, once it dies you only draw 1 card. So that's why I believe Acolyte of Pain is usually better. Anyway, we'll continue with this kind of tangent of where we're going. Raid Leader, once again, one of those minions where when it's on the field you want to kill it as quickly as possible, but it's not really needed at the moment because it's not part of the deck strategy that I'm going for. Wind Fury, that could actually be quite good, but once again, not part of the strategy I'm going for. It doesn't really have any kind of benefit from being damaged, so I'll kind of stay away from that one. Battlecry, Taunt, give a minion +2 attack. Let's have a look. Battlecry, silence a minion. Silences are really good because they can help you get around taunts, especially if you have no way to do it yourself, but once again, not required. Gain +1 health for each card in your hand. I don't plan on having lots of cards in my hand for this deck. I'm planning on having most of them on the field. Let's have a look. Girabashi Berserker, of course, we'll throw 2 of him in. Enrage, your weapon has +2 attack. Yep, definitely throw him in. Although this deck doesn't really have that many weapons, I'll just save him until I really need him. So I'll save him until I have out the Fiery War Axe. Which, by the way, I don't actually have Fiery War Axe in here at the moment, so throwing that in was probably a bit of a poor choice, but I plan to put it in. It is one of those filler cards I will definitely be putting in, so we'll throw it in there for now. Death Rattle, take control of a random enemy minion. That one I actually probably will throw in because Death Rattle effects have a tendency to trigger off. I mean, she's a 5/5, so she's quite a decent minion anyway, but Death Rattle, take control of an enemy minion. The point of this deck is to damage my own minions, so that gives me more control over what I can take control with her. I've tried playing her a few times before, but the problem with her is that she's so powerful. Quite often, like, I'm quite a relentless player, I won't leave minions on my opponent's side of the field unless they're not too much of a threat. But if they're not too much of a threat, I don't want control of them. Whereas with her, the things I want control of, she has a tendency to just outright kill. So she's not that great in that respect. But if I can kill her on my own time and my own terms, like for example, if I can kill off 3 or 4 of my opponent's minions and leave only their strongest one and then kill her with my own cards, then I take control of that minion and I can attack them with their own minion. So I actually probably will throw her in for this occasion. Let's see, what do we have? Minions cost 3 more, spell damage, charge, taunt, Gelbin Mechatork. I'm staying the hell away from him. He has screwed me over too many games before. Alright, so there's all the basics of the deck in there, I guess. these are all the cards I kind of want, and that leaves room for 15 more cards, which will all be filler cards. So we'll have a quick look through and see if there's anything we missed. I don't believe there's anything I really missed, so now we start thinking about the other parts of the deck. I want 2 Fiery War Axes because I have the Spiteful Smith in there, so that'll kind of help him along. He's got an Enrage effect, which is part of what the deck is trying to achieve. Upgrade. Now, I could build this deck around, with Upgrade, at least if I use it, if I manage to, like, somehow lose both of my Fiery War Axes, at least the Upgrade gives Spiteful Smith a bit of extra usage. If I have the Fiery War Axe out, well then that increases the damage of it even more, so I mean, why not? Execute, destroy a damaged enemy minion. Yes, definitely. With those 2 cards, since I have things like Wild Pyromancer, that means I'll be able to damage everything on my opponent's side of the field and then just pick one in particular and go execute for 1 mana, so why not? Heroic Strike, give your hero +4 attack this turn. Now, I'm not sure if that counts as a weapon or if that just pops up as +4 attack, because Spiteful Smith increases the weapon's attack and not my hero's attack. So I think that one might work in the same sense of what the Druid does, where it doesn't equip a weapon, it just gives the Druid themselves a bit more attack. So I'll probably skip on that one for now. Battlecry, equip a 2/2 weapon, Elrathi Weaponsmith. Once again, that might be a bit useful, especially given that, where is it? The Fiery War Axe itself only has 2 durability, so that's not likely to last very long, especially with Upgrade and Spiteful Smith. Spiteful Smith is quite a bit of an endgame card, so if I end up using up these before I get the opportunity to pull out Spiteful Smith, that could be quite bad. Now, you may be thinking I'm relying on Spiteful Smith quite a bit, but the thing is, he's got an Enrage effect, which is part of what I'm trying to do with this deck, and he's also got an effect which requires a weapon, so I might as well make the most of that while I've got it. So I'll throw that in there. Now, filler cards for the rest of them. I have to establish whether I want to save the decks, like if I want to go for keeping the... How do I explain this? I want to decide whether this deck has any one particular weakness I need to cover, or whether it has... or whether I should just go for the main strategy, which is to draw a lot of cards and try and get off my own strategy as quickly as possible. Now, that's where the big thing comes in, where I have to think about, it's kind of one of those things you'll learn through experimentation, learn through playing. Off the bat, I can say that chances are most of these minions won't survive more than 1 turn with the way I've got this deck built, so I would like to protect them a little bit more, but I don't really have anything to protect them. I don't think I have any minions that can outright protect other minions. I've got Young Priestess, and once again, she's one of those dummy targets. She's a bit of a pseudo taunt kind of thing, where she's on the field and she has to be killed like straight away. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if that's +1 health or heals +1. If it's +1 health, yeah, restore 2 health. It's +1 health. She adds 1 health to whoever's on the field. So I'll definitely be throwing her in, because they can remain damaged, but their maximum HP increases. So that might be worth it. I'll have to see how that works. I'm not sure how that works. So we'll throw her in. She'll help to keep everything alive a little bit longer. Looking at my cards that I've got, I could use a few extra 4 mana cost cards, a few extra 3 mana cost cards. I don't have any taunts at the moment, so I'm probably going to throw some 3 and 4 mana cost taunts in there. So we'll go for 3 mana cost. We will go for 2 Iron Furs. Sorry if you can hear the phone in the background ringing. That's business phone, so I won't even bother with it. Anyway, Iron Fur. The Shattered Sun Cleric is once again the same thing, where she boosts +1/+1 as opposed to restoring 1 HP, so definitely 2 of her, because she allows them to stay damaged as well as, which allows them to keep their Enrage effect as well as, you know, increasing their HP so they'll survive a little bit better. And 4 mana, so I need... He actually drops in cost if I have a weapon out, so that could be worth it as well, because he is essentially the same as Iron Fur Grizzly, same stats. But I might skip on him for now. Mogashan Water absorbs a lot of attacks, so I'm going to throw one of him in. And a few Senjin Shield Masters, I guess. I mean, we're going for kind of a... It's kind of hoardish at the moment, so might as well. 2 of him. That's 2 taunts. And what else have I got? I could still use a 4 mana cost card, so I might throw in... I've got room for 1 more card. I might throw in the Corsair anyway, because he costs less if I have a weapon out, so that's kind of something that I'm trying to achieve with the deck. So there we go. There's the basic of what I've got for the deck. I'm feeling kind of decent about how this deck will work, but I guess we can only really see by experimentation, so I'll post up another video after this, and hopefully when I end this video it'll pop up with the link to it. If not, I'll nah, I kind of can't be bothered editing these videos. So anyway, yeah, so I'll be throwing up another video where I'll be playing this deck. First we have to name it. What should we name it? Garrosh is a douche. There we go. Perfect name. Anyway, I'll be throwing this deck up and we'll be testing it out so we can see how it goes, and I can talk about the synergy of the deck and what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, so stay tuned.